It's Tuesday, October 4th, the day after the Miles Morales season pass is dropped, and a small balance patch is upon us in Marvel Snap. Have to say, I absolutely love the regular changes the devs have been making, addressing potentially problematic things. Let's go ahead and dive on into the details here, starting with the change that I've actually been asking for a long time now, and I'm glad that they agreed, and that's Magik can no longer be played on the 6th turn of the game. Magik, just one of the most powerful effects in Snap, turns a location to Limbo, which adds a 7th turn to the game. When you play this effect on the 6th turn, it adds a surprise 7th turn that often leads to games that feel very bad, and it's just quite a powerful effect that you know an extra turn is coming and your opponent doesn't. Even when your opponent does know Magik is coming, if you're playing her on the 6th turn, there's often not a lot of counterplay to that unless you have something like Cosmo or you're going second and can turn the location back from Limbo afterwards. So the fact that Magik will now have to be played before the 6th turn means that playing cards like Storm, Scarlet Witch, Rhino are all effects that can destroy the Limbo that Magik has created, offering counterplay to that potentially 7th turn and counterplay to a powerful effect. This change will likely make the Sarah Negative deck, that was still the best deck in the format after Mr. Negative got adjusted, be a little bit worse, because that deck often wanted to Sarah on 5 and then Magik plus something else on 6 and do a flood of things on 7, and now they'll have to Magik on 5, meaning they get less turns with that Sarah discount. Speaking of Mr. Negative, they agreed that he was still the best deck by a good margin, and they whacked him again. Mr. Negative now has negative power, one of the only negative power cards in the game that doesn't flip to your opponent's side of the board. Now gives you -1 power for 4 resources, definitely a strict downgrade. I think the change to Magik and the change to Negative is hopefully enough to rein that deck in and give some other things room to breathe. At any rate, I'm happy to see both of these cards getting further adjustments based on my games against them. Bishop is one that I'm a little surprised to see adjusted, but I don't think it's completely unreasonable. So being brought down from base 2 power to base 1 power, you can still frequently play a lot of cards after this. This is a 3 mana card that often gets to 6, 7, 8, sometimes even 9 or 10 power. So still a very good rate if you're playing it in a deck that can enable it properly. Nakia getting I'm going to call this a buff. So Nakia previously gave 2 cards at random in your hand +2 attack. Now she gives the 2 leftmost cards in your hand +2 attack. And this control or predictability makes her a lot more consistent card and easier to be used. I don't know if this will push her into the realm of being playable, because she still is only providing 5 total power for 3 resources, which isn't an amazing rate, but I think she's definitely better than she was before with the randomness in her previous design. Ronin is getting dialed back a little bit. This had previously been a 5 mana 0 power card at the base that got 3 power for every card in the opponent's hand, now getting a base 3 power and only getting 2 power for each card in the opponent's hand. This is also, again, a very subtle nerf to the Mr. Negative archetype, because Ronin could be free previously after you Mr. Negative it. Now it's going to be a 3 mana 5 power base card, so still good with Negative, but not as crazy as before. And then finally, as a last little mention here today in our balance patch review, they also added a new player bundle in the patch today. So for $3, you can get 700 gold and an avatar and a Captain America variant. This is a very good ratio of gold to USD. For those not familiar, the base gold price for 700 gold is 10 USD. So we've been price anchored off of this. And if you're going to be spending money on Marvel Snap, that first purchase of that intro package is going to be a very, very reasonable thing to be picking up. At any rate, what do you think of the balance changes? Are you happy that they whacked Mr. Negative again? Do you think it was deserving or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully see you real soon for a live stream here on the YouTube channel, or for one of our regular deck highlights. We'll be checking out some of these changes here real soon. Thanks for watching. As always, folks, have a good evening.